Say, I might as well able to actually just go ahead and jump into this little pool of water, so that way I could able to possibly swim in there, but we'll see what happens there. So here I go. Ready? And boom! Ow! The water is all shallow. But nonetheless though, I can still able to walk on water though, so that means something, right? But I digress. Hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen, I'm Piglet here once again, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Super Mario Galaxy for the Nintendo Wii. So, last time we actually did manage to completely done, well, almost entirely done with Space Junk Galaxy, and also we did manage to able to collect some of those power stars by the forms of some of these prankster comments. In addition with that, we did manage to tackle through Rolling Green Galaxy. So, yeah, today for this episode is the fact that we're about to be continue on with the forms of the Felton Dome to able to move on to the next Galaxy stage. Now, if you do not know already, this is actually my second attempt for able to doing this recording session because I seem to do not even notice that I actually did those 3 future parts from that point already, but one problem I have with the forms of the first attempt on these 3 later parts later on, including this one as well, for whatever reason is that my capture card seems to able to let the actual screen itself squish a little bit, so as a result for this concept edition, that everything else, it's pretty much exactly the same as how it does it from the previous video ago, but there are some noticeable slight differences, is the fact that, obviously, my lives count, as you can see, I've got 9, because of the forms of that male toad that we've actually stumbled across. And, especially noticeable in some of these previous levels, or some of these previous missions that I've already done previously, has now been replaced as by the forms of the higher score coin counts. Even then, I can't be bothered to show it off, because, obviously, this is nothing worth mentioning. So even then, yeah, let's get into this video, shall we? So here we go, on to the next galaxy we have is the Battle Rock Galaxy, and the first mission to start off with is Battle Rock Barrage. So let's get into it. In fact, it's kind of interesting because of how the fact that this stage will make a return by the forms of that particular spin-off title by the forms of Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games. I think that's where it's at. Basically, in that particular game, actually features the forms of Dream Hurdles, where basically in that particular event takes place new forms of this stage by the forms of Battle Rock Galaxy. So something's worth mentioning though. So pretty interesting, but even then though, that's only because I still really think that when it comes to Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games series, I still think that the Winter Olympic Games and London 2012 one are considered to be the best by the forms of the actual series. But later on, like, you know, when it's like Sochi 2014 came around, and especially noticeable with Rio 2016 as well, that I seem to able to lose interest with those now. Well, at least I give Sochi 2014 some credit for. They did at least add something like the online play, and especially with these dream events and what have you, but my only criticism with that game is, of course, controls, and that could not be applied for Rio 2016 this time around, because after, like, let's just say almost 3 years after its release on the Wii U and for the Nintendo 3DS, that, it doesn't seem to be appealing to me this time around. Well, I still enjoy these games, don't get me wrong, but it's just that it does seem to feel a little bit lacking with content, like no dream events and none of that, so that's just a little bit disappointing. So, anyways though, enough about that. So, obviously in this particular stage, we need to able to constantly we need to avoid those little cannonballs as what they're shooting right towards us. But then, as long as you get able to actually just about to be crouching right underneath them, then you would be fine. And also, some star bits. Now, if you probably did not know already, this was originally going to be uploaded and during the likes of it yesterday by the forms of the 29th of January, by the forms of yesterday. But it turns out that how the fact that Sonic and Mickey, and even Daffy, that he finally makes a return by the forms of the Maxi Toys YouTube channel for this point, because I haven't seen him for quite a while, but even then though, same applies for Sylvester the Cat as well, so that's also a huge plus I might add. And as a result, they did tell me about the fact that they've now finally got ourselves, or we finally managed to get ourselves our brand new PlayStation 4 game. Sorry, excuse me, I got myself a little bit of a dry throat at the moment. We got ourselves a brand new PlayStation 4 game, which is none other than Kingdom Hearts 3, which I will say though, whenever I play this game on my own time, or even in this case we play the game on our own time, and I love every single part of the game, especially because of how the fact that, well, they heavily borrowed the actual, like, the combat mechanics ever since the forms of 0.2 Birth by Sleep, the forms of, the Fragmentary Passage, which, you know, that utilizes the forms of the Unreal Engine 4, type of the visual, stuff like that, of that nature. It's hard to explain, but either way, though, must admit right away, I do apologize for that specific point, so... Anyways though, so let's move on back to the forms of Battle Rock Galaxy again, but this time we're doing a different mission, breaking into the Battle Rock. But not only that, I believe this mission actually requires a, I believe that this stage, or in this case in this mission rather, contains a secret Power Star, which, again, I might as well able to do that right away by the forms of the secret Power Star first, and then after that, then we can able to get into the normal regular mission, so... So as a result of that tradition, it's not that much to really to speak of, even by the forms of how the fact that, from my first impressions by the forms of Kingdom Hearts 3, whenever I finally managed to able to play that game at long last, and I love every single part of it, as I said this before. Like, for instance, the forms of the combat mechanics and all that stuff, and even especially noticeable how the worlds themselves is so beautiful to look at. Even especially noticeable, what I found was really odd is that you'll be starting things off by the forms of, like, I'm not going to spoil any details at the very beginning because I'll let you guys know any forms of whenever you get the game first until you see what I'm going to talk about originally. But even then though, I found the worlds themselves are beautiful and especially noticeable how open world it is now. And even then though, to make matters even much more cooler than that is the fact that I can now able to actually you know, play the Kingdom Hearts game that has the forms of that, well, the normal command menu this time around though, which it technically did already in the forms of ever since in Birth by Sleep 0.2, the Fragmentary Passage already, but even then though, it's no longer going to be a command dex system or anything like that this time around, which even then, I don't have many issues with the forms of command decks on the forms of, you know, in Birth by Sleep and Recoded, and especially with Dream Drop Distance, which it works fine enough as it is, because those three games are side games and all that stuff. But even then though, in the end of the day, I think I'm kind of getting used to with the forms of, like, going back into the forms of the commands menu, like specifically the normal commands menu this time around, which either way, because it brings me back so many memories whenever I played Kingdom Hearts 2 all over again. And even especially noticeable with the original Kingdom Hearts game as a result too. But I digress. So, anyway, so if you get to the secret mission right here, basically we need to acquire 30 star bits in order to actually feed that hungry Luma, and since we got plenty of those star bits due to the fact that we got ourselves the rainbow star to begin with, and able to demolish that chain jumps at the same time, which even then, it does really helps, so... Anyway, so this particular mission right there, it might be a bit more frustrating for those of you who have a first time playing this game, but all you have to do is very simple and self-explanatory. As you can tell, we need to take down these little garbage dumps, and by simply we need to use these bob-ombs, because these are the main focus of this mission, and I believe there are only 2 of these types of missions, because there was one from, obviously, in Battle Rock, and there's also the second and the final one, which we'll get to that in a later down the road. But for now, let's go ahead and take care of this kind of stuff. Well, at least for the most part anyway. Please be the first try. Please on the first try. Please both be on the first try. Come on. Yay! First attempt. Yay. Alright, so that's it for that mission. And then once you clear out all the rubbish dump, well, obviously that little robot, which I believe his name was actually Guillermo, basically he'll give you a power star as much as you please. So thank you, mister, for able to give me that little precious item, or in this case the most important item throughout the majority of the 3D Mario games nowadays. Well, at least ever since then, so yeah. And the secret mission is Battle Rock's Garbage Dump. So yeah, that's all that usually counts. So 21 power stars and 1,726 star bits in total at this point, which we still got plenty of them before we're able to actually use them when the next Hungry Luma actually appears. Well, usually we've already had in forms of after dealing with the forms of the 5th mission, and he forms within Space Junk Galaxy, so I just want to point things out. So, anyways, let's get back into this normal regular mission again, but this time around though, we'll do the mission normally, so let's get into this. So, actually, it's one of the point things out right away is the fact that today, when it comes to the actual weather at the moment in the United Kingdom at the time, it's actually gone snowing today, which even then though, I'm quite surprised about that because either way though, it gives me some time to able to actually play Kingdom Hearts 3 again, so naturally I can able to get myself my own time completely by the forms of that specific game alone, and you know, because I enjoyed so many aspects by the forms of Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'm very glad that it's now been exist now, so even then though, that I'm very happy for. So, anyways though, as far as the next games I might consider getting in the future, well obviously there's 2 more games that's going to be coming out for March. I really don't know about February though, because either way though, that ever since then we've only got 2 more days to go until when we move on to February, until when January is practically finished in the forms of the very first month of 2019, so I really cannot believe time really does fly though still. But anyway though, yeah, as when it comes to games on March, there is Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn, and especially noticeable with Yoshi's Crafted World, and everything else will be sorted by the forms of in March. I still do not know about the forms of April at the moment, and especially noticeable by the forms of like, well in May we got Team Sonic Racing will be on its way on the PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch, which I might as well get those 2 versions, so if I do one version on my own time and play another version for a simple Let's Play of the game, so even then though, that would able to happen, so. But anyway though, and as far as June is concerned, we got ourselves Crash Team Racing Nitro Fields on its way for the PlayStation 4, which I think that might be the only version I might consider getting. So, but I really don't know about the Switch, the Nintendo Switch version, because obviously I've already got myself the forms of Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy on the not only for the PlayStation 4, but also for the Nintendo Switch as well. So, but anyways, yes, I already know Wii Remote, I already know where the launch star is, so don't worry. Jeez, honestly. Anyway though, yeah, aside from that, yeah, because of this though, it took me so many efforts, or in this case so many days, to able to come back to this game, because obviously that how the fact that, well, you remember by the forms of how the fact that I said this before in the last video of the forms of Super Mario Galaxy Let's Play, I was gonna say I might as well sometimes take a break for this game, because there are some other Let's Plays I need to concentrate on, most notably by the forms of how the fact that we've now recently finished up with the forms of the entirety of New Super Mario Bros. 2 due to those DLC packs and all that stuff from Coin Rush mode, and especially noticeable were how the fact that recently Blossom has now recently finished up with New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch. So, practically, we are practically sorted for now when it comes to 2D Mario games for this point, unless that there are some other ones need to worth mentioning though, which are, you know, Super Mario Land and Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins, and I think well pretty much does it for now from here. See, from then yeah, that's as far as I can say about it here. So anyways though, here we are inside the actual base itself, and what we need to do is basically we need to able to toss the bombs. By the way, for those bombs right there, like specifically the bombs to be more specifically, if they start to walk, basically what you have to do is basically you need to shake the Wii remote at the right moment until you're able to actually just let the bombs don't have any legs anymore. So even then though, once you're done with that, then you would able to thrust the Wii remote forward until you're able to actually just chuck the bomb, whatever what angles or throwing adjustments you have to go through, so it doesn't really matter. By the way, if you see that right there, by the forms of how the fact that I managed to able to free the Luma by simply smashing through those 2 crystals all in one go, I did manage to able to done that before on Train a long time ago, and by the way, oh sweet, I won up by the forms of that particular bust out cage twice, so yeah, it's a little bit of a sweet combo, do you think? But anyways, from that last part, you just have to simply just shoot yourself all the way to the actual power star, but it doesn't matter if you failed on this particular part, because all you get if you fail for that specific section right there, it'll just takes you back safely. So even then though, that's all that you need to able to be considered that. So 22 power stars and 1882 power star bits. I almost said power stars for some reason, because either way, Anyway, enough about that. So let's head back to Battle Rock Galaxy for the 4th time. So, naturally such, we can able to do, what else? The next new mission. So, let's see how this goes. Top Manic and the Top Man Tribe. So here we actually introduce into ourselves the forms of the Top Man enemies, where you can't really try to jump on them, because as you can see, those Top Men did have spikes on them, so... Oh, actually, by the way, not to be confused with the forms of Top Man, the Top Man from Mega Man 3, by the forms of the exact same Robot Master's name, but except the fact that he doesn't really toss the actual, well, the top spin or anything like that, unlike any forms of how he does in Mega Man 3, but he forms of that specific Robot Master, which I rarely use that, other than whenever we get to the point until the final boss, in the forms of Mega Man 3, which is Gamma. Not to be confused by the forms of that peacekeeping robots, E102 Gamma from Sonic Adventure, but either way though, that's just part of the actual main suggest. Oh, really? What the? I got stuck by that forms of that laser enemy. Oh, jeez. Don't know what's going on with me today. Apart from that though, there's not much else I can think of. So anyways, let's skip that before we're able to actually just get ourselves our launch off. But the forms of that launch star seems to be more likely to be exact. So yeah, in order to actually kill this Top Man is by simply we need to spin right at them and just trying to able to, God forbid, trying to able to aim at them from that laser, or in this case a laser fence. But if you do that, then you would proceed. So that's how it goes, and vice versa though, really. So there again, there's not much else to really say about this here. I hope for the fact that there are some rumors out there, but it forms about the fact that, well, it's nothing that much important though, because even then I just make things up, so even then there is no point for mentioning that. So anyways though, let's smash those crates up until we enter this green pipe we go. And then normally there's actually a switch over there which you can able to change them by simply just shaking the Wiimote, but as far as the actual parkour players like I do, well, I can just simply just skip that particular beginning, and not to mention, voila, shortcuts await. But even then, I know for some normal players out there attempt to do it normally, so yeah. What the? Okay, that Goober got squished, but he forms of that squished up or smashed compactors. Okay, seems interesting enough. And what's kind to me is the fact that it gives me some star bits, so it's pretty cool. So anyways though, as far as I've heard from the reviews of the forms of Kingdom Hearts 3, after the forms of the actual launch release day, but the forms of Kingdom Hearts 3, specifically both versions of the game, because normally speaking is that this is the only Kingdom Hearts game to able to feature not one, but 2 consoles released on, like one for the usual Sony PlayStation 4, and the first time ever in the Microsoft owners on the forms of the Xbox One version. So, and as far as I've heard between the two different versions by the forms of Kingdom Hearts 3, specifically on the forms of a Metacritic website, they seem to able to give the PlayStation 4 version a pretty high score by the forms of 88% out of 100, or in this case, 88 out of 100, which is almost perfect in every way. But honestly, I think I should probably give the game actually like a 10 out of 10, just because of how the fact that easily, after all playing tons of hours in the forms of Kingdom Hearts 3, easily without a doubt one of my favorite Kingdom Hearts game I've ever played. Well, I would say my second favorite, because either way, still my top priority is the forms of Kingdom Hearts 2, just because of my nostalgia, and especially noticeable with a world of fascinating worlds, and especially noticeable how the fact that in each of Disney worlds in Kingdom Hearts 2, you can able to actually revisit those worlds again by the forms of not only for the sake of one part of the story, but also the second part of the forms of the story itself. So that makes it begs the question about how the fact that I'm always a huge fan of Kingdom Hearts series to begin with. So, and even then though, that the only game I wasn't really too fond of though is the forms of course, Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, because I just don't think I can able to come back into that game ever again, because Jesus Christ, I got so frustrated to the point whenever it gets to the point that the game actually requires you to able to use the real money to able to actually fund those, not only for the sake of the forms of that specific medals and what have you, but it's also jewels as well, which either way, especially if you really want to able to, if you keep on dying in multiple times by the forms of the actual boss fights themselves, geez, you have to able to use those jewels a lot if you keep on using continues, which either way, that's attempt to really frustrate me. And to make matters worse is the fact that with the AP system, just like in forms of how it does it in those, you know, the other games, actually I'll get into more details onto that later, but for now, here we go with the next new stage we can actually come across is Horisuri Galaxy, and the mission's name is Shrinking Satellite. So basically, you get the idea with this level layout as usually works. Every time you actually walk past by the forms of those green double checker, or in this case, what did I say double checker? I meant the checkerboard green tiles, and then every time you actually walk past them, sometimes they actually just manage to go slowly disappear. Which, either way though, you need to watch out for, because if you do not pay attention to that whatsoever, then you obviously fall off and die. Especially noticeable, you get sucked into the actual black hole, and then you get the idea for this. So, and obviously in this mission in particular is the fact that we need to collect every single musical note. But if you do, Power Star awaits you. So even then, it's kind of weird to able to place there right inside right there after that black hole disappears. So, but oh well, who gives that actual altitude? And we are done with this particular stage. And I believe we need to hit back to the forms of Battle Rock Galaxy for, well, let's just say by the forms of the 5th time in a row, because of the prankster comment that we can actually now go ahead and deal with. Because since we're on an even number, 2010, which is actually represents the year of Super Mario Galaxy 2's release. Actually, hold on, let me just point at the black Luma right there and shoot him 3 times. Voila! 2007 marks the debut of Super Mario Galaxy. I like the sound of that. So anyways though, yeah, as you can see, the new comet has actually appeared. In fact, there's actually a new type of comets that we can actually stumble across. But this time around though, is somewhat feels a bit white or grey. It could be, depends on which color choices you want to go for. So, in this case, we have Daredevil comments, which means we'll get to that as soon as we get to the actual mission. So speaking of such, Top Manic's Daredevil runs. So even then, we're going to be going on to the exact same battle arena as before, but except this time around is the fact that, well, you only have 1 health. Yeah, I'm not kidding. You only have like 1 health for this particular mission. So, yeah, good luck for that, because you will attempt to die if you have a first time playing the game, if you keep on dying too many times. But we'll go for it anyway. So even then, basically this boss is exactly the same deal as last time. So even then though, you get these suggestions at this point. So even then though, you know, just knock him right onto the wall. You almost killed me. Oh, jeez. So anyway, so you do this 3 times, and then that's all you have to do with this boss fight in particular. So, Shazam! Alright. Again, it doesn't really matter if you go after the enemies first before you deal with the main baddie himself. But honestly, I think I should highly suggest you able to clear out most of the enemies first before you deal with the forms of the actual, like, the meanie himself. So even then though, you would able to actually just go ahead and try to deal with it there. So, there we go. We are done with the forms of the Daredevil Run Comet mission. So we got 25 power stars and 2,045 star bits. So I think, seems to say, I think we should probably get into the forms of the Hungry Luma stage now. So even then though, we'll be back inside the fountain later on, because even then, as to be expected, we'll save the Bowser stages types until whenever we finish up with pretty much any kinds of stages, including the Hungry Luma stages. So let's go ahead and feed him up to 400, the same amount as the forms on how it does it in the Terrace Dance. So even then, but this time around though, it will actually lead us to the different levels. So we have Sling Pod Galaxy. So, oh gee, I wonder how that could be, I wonder. But even then though, we'll see what happens there. So anyways, let's get to this. So, a very sticky situation. So, let's get into this. So we got 18 lives to our disposal right there. So even then though, let's see how well we can deal with this stage. So, I think, I have to be honest here, this is actually the best level to able to actually farm more of those star bits, because the more you, every time you die on a specific level, basically you can able to actually keep on grinding for those star bits. And as you can see, I've grabbed 18 at the time, and oh yeah, it's one of those sling pods that we've already saw ever since the forms of Space Junk Galaxy, but now we have to do it entirety of for this level. So, oh, what the? There goes the first step of the playthrough. I really can't suggest at this point, because of how the fact that, well, talking and concentrating is a bit of a bad thing because obviously if I manage to do those two things at the time, then it'll able to ruin my concentration. So, anyways though, let's try this again. So yeah, again, this is the best level to able to farm those, you know, these little, star bits, as you can see, because not only that, I managed to grab some of them on my first attempt, but if I lose one life, then I can still manage to keep those, star bits alive. But, except coins though, just like in the forms of Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine, because, you know, if you manage to able to die, and if you do not grab as many of those coins... No, 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 no. Oh, what?! How can I even grab that? Oh, please don't tell me how to do this again. Oh, thank you, God. Thank you. Anyways, so... yeah, you're gonna have to sometimes occasionally do some pull star elements to the mix as well, so there are some rare occasions where you do that, so... But in fact, if you hit onto this little question mark coin, we get ourselves even more star bits, which actually helps you to able to know where you exactly you're gonna aim at. So, for instance, from here... and especially from there, and of course from here, but keep that in mind, you need to be very careful of those swinging fire bars, because if you don't pay attention to that, well, you have to restart for that specific section again. So, now, there we go, and the final part is basically the exact same thing as breaking into the Battle Rock, except rather than just using the cannon, instead, that we need to use the sling part as much as you can. So... but again, you only have like one shot at this specific each shot, because if you made one wrong move, then you know you have to do redo the entire section again. Well, not the entire beginning part, but thankfully though, the majority of the level itself can give you like, let's just say 2 checkpoints in this particular level, because there's one whenever you almost approaching to the pole star section. Actually, I'll get into more details onto that as soon as we get to Luigi's playthrough of the game. So even then though, let's talk to Captain Toad. We finished building the Star Shroom Starship. We use it to search for power stars. And we, the members of the Toad Brigade, will be able to be brave crew. And this brigade needs a bold leader as a animus, or well, under my command, the galaxies will see the bravery of the Toad Brigade. So you can tell I've accidentally said Luigi right there, because either way, yes. If for those of you who haven't watched this already, then this might be your spoiler alert for that specific point. But for those of you who are able to actually know the game already, at least ever since for about a decade ago right about now, basically you know how it sounds. But even then, we'll mention about that when we get to the future points of this entirety of the Let's Play of Super Mario Galaxy. So, anyways though, let's head back to the Felton Dome and able to deal out with the last level in the Felton Dome, Bowser's Star Reactor. So even then, but again, we will come back for the Felton Dome until when we get to the later portion of the game. So from now on though, we'll take on the Fury Stronghold. So, let's get into this. And consecutively, this is actually the forms of the Bowser stage, so even then though we don't have to deal with Bowser Jr. anytime soon, so naturally we can able to actually see how Bowser's doing. And from the start though, it's the fact that I can definitely tell from the music in the background, because it's actually a throwback to the forms of Super Mario 64, specifically by the forms of Bowser in Dark World theme, or in this case Bowser's Road, to be more precise. But except, oh man, I really love this version actually, even though it can be stigmatized by the forms of the original theme as well. And heck, they even got that specific remixed theme of the Super Mario 64 remixed theme of the Bowser's Road in the forms of the Mario Party Island toy for the Nintendo 3DS by, you know, going through the forms of Bowser's Peculiar Peak, excuse me, and there's also by the forms of like, or in this case the European countries like myself included, normally it calls it Peculiar Peak, in this case Bizarre Volcano, because I just don't know why that's being usually explained by that. So, whoa! Almost fell off then. Jeez. But yeah, you get the idea. Basically, we need to dodge those fire bars just like in the forms of the Sling Pod Galaxy, but except we're not going to deal with these Sling Pods. So, oh look, there's Bowser right there. And he's going to able to try to kill us all by simply just trying to able to actually just destroy every kind of platforms by simply using his fire breathing attacks. So yeah, all you do is basically you have to make your way all the way up to the top here. If you do, then we have a one-on-one fight to deal with. Woo-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha. You finally made it. Just in time for me to stomp you into space bits. Oh really, Bowser, huh? You think you could get away with me like that? So anyways though, here's the first encounter with the forms of Bowser in this game. Basically all you have to do is very simple, we need to guide him to this little light blue containers there, which actually represents is actually a lava, or in this case the fire. Then as soon as when Bowser catches on fire, or in this case catches Tail on fire, basically you need to be able to shake the Wii remote right back in towards him, and then as a result, he might occasionally might as well go into it, you know, tipped over for a little bit into its shell form, and then every once in a while then you have to shake it again to be able to actually count as a hit. So even then, that's all you really have to do, and vice versa though, really. Eventually the boss fights does get a little bit slightly tougher as you progress, because sometimes you actually give himself a different amount of attacks. Stuff like he forms off the fireball breathing attack, especially noticeable that he occasionally just summons those little laser shockwaves, which he occasionally does that whenever he jumps. So, but yeah, you have to do it like 3 times and vice versa, so even then though, I don't know why in every single Mario games in this series at this point in time, they always have the forms of just only 3 hit points in the forms of every single bosses, whilst in the forms of the Sonic the Hedgehog games, it only represents the forms of only 8 hit points, while in some exceptions, by the forms of like, I would say Chaos Zero, but he forms of Sonic Adventure, but either way though, let's not get ahead of ourselves, so, and boom, we are done with the forms of the first Bowser fight, so, we'll also when we get to more Bowser fights later on. What? How? Foolish Mario, my plan is too far along now. You really think you can stop me? Hoo ha 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 ha. Oh jeez, he has the exact same line as how he does in Sonic Heroes when, let's just say Dr. Eggman managed to write a letter to Team Sonic, and then obviously he did say, "You think you can stop me?" Hoo ha 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 ha. But, you know, we didn't get any taunts on it whatsoever, so there we go folks, there's our 3rd Grand Star in Super Mario Galaxy. Hells yeah. And obviously, since we're done with that, then we can now actually transport it immediately at the Comet Observatory. So even then though, we'll go ahead and insert the 3rd Grand Star into the actual beacon, and obviously it would able to get a little bit more bigger, but yeah, everything's all come together, and now the actual arena on the lower level actually entirely lights up. So even then though, everything else will be, you know, self-explanatory, and we've actually unlocked the 3rd dome, which even then though, we'll get to that sooner or later. So for now, we got ourselves 27 power stars, and 21 coins, and some more star bits every once in a while. And we've actually unlocked 4 galaxies, almost 5 and everything else. You rescued another Grand Star, and the power has returned to another dome back into the of the observatory. But I still don't think we have the star power we need to fly the observatory through the universe. The villain who kidnapped your Special One took her far from here to the center of the universe. Once our star power is restored, the observatory will be able to go there. Then you can reunite with your Special One. So I'm afraid guys, we got the endings off at this point right there, and let me save my game quickly. See, but then though, I'm also ending things off here, so join me next time on Let's Play Super Mario Galaxy. Here's the fact that we're going to be hit on to get things started by the forms of the 3rd dome of the game, by the forms of the kitchen dome. So yeah, anyway, see you guys next time. Later fellas.